This is it. So, people, proper. I got Randy Rector with me. If you watch my channel, you should watch Randy's channel because we do pretty much the same kind of thing. We like to nerd out over audio gear and probably other things, which I'll let you
Yeah.
tell me what else you like to nerd out about. But if you notice, Randy's on a kick-ass microphone.
Yeah.
And congrats on the new addition to your family.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks here. Yeah, we just had our second baby girl 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, your life is going to be so much more interesting now. It's when you add multiple kids is when everything gets really crazy
yeah. As of right now,
in a
it's
good way.
yeah. We're just in the phase right now where we're losing the sleep, and so trying to film videos and trying to work and trying to sleep and trying to be like a good partner as well. Like
Yes.
there's no time for anything. So
It is difficult, and I'm glad you said good partner because that's definitely, that's kind of me and my wife's philosophy. We're a team. Everything's together.
hmm,
There is no I'm the man, you're the woman, you do this, I do that. We share responsibilities
yeah,
as equally as we possibly can, and it does the multiple kids puts I wouldn't say a stress because me and my wife we never really fight. We have these little tiny moments, like we had one little tiny moment this morning, like that lasts a blip in time, and then we're like, it's
yeah,
you keep moving forward. I'm a
yeah,
very is it worth it kind of guy. Is it worth arguing about?
yeah.
Is it worth the problem?
I think we're very much the same way. We've had a few like disagreements, arguments, but we don't lash out. Like I don't know. I think we both feel like we're both trying at all times. So
Yeah, yeah. And life's too short to make big deals out of stuff. So
oh, for sure.
you got that too. But one question I want to ask first, and it won't be just interview style, so to speak. Like
Hit me with
I,
it.
I'm happy about this too, because like you and I have got like a rapport on social media,
Yeah.
and clearly, we're into each other as far as like two dudes hanging out, talking online and stuff. I
Oh, I
love
love
the
it.
the virtual connections are cool to me. I don't people very well, so
Yeah, I was
doing
saying
it
this.
this way,
I was saying this before we went live. It's like I kind of got into YouTube thinking this is going to be such a social endeavor, being like, oh, I see all these creators that are like out of their creator this and that, and it is so siloing. Like you're just making your own videos. I have regular people who show up to my videos that I really appreciate because it does feel like that element of community when you see those similar names popping in the comments all the time. But aside from that, like I don't talk to many other people that do this. So it's like it's just such a treat to get to nerd out and just to hear other people's perspectives too.
yeah. And I think I don't know what to attribute it to, but I guess there is just I think there's this automatic thing where everyone thinks that we're all in competition or
Mm,
that we're all trying to be first to the market with this microphone or we're
yeah.
trying to beat somebody the punch on this or that. And I feel like as soon as you do a collaboration, trying to think of the first one I did, I want to say it was Bronson at
Mm,
Audio Hotline. I feel like as soon as you do one, like then the rest of the community sees that you're not in competition with them
yeah.
and you're not closed off thinking you're the man and your videos are the
Yeah.
greatest and they all suck. And I think once that is seen, I feel like the gates open up a little bit. Like, because once I did something with one person, then another person would reach out and be like, hey, I'd like to join you for that. And I'd be like, really? Bandrew of Podcastage would like to join me at
That's
this?
so
Like,
sick.
he's got way more subs, which that crap doesn't matter at the end of the day. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think once it happens, then it kind of starts happening. But
I think people feed off the enthusiasm, right? Your enthusiasm for microphones is very evident. I think anyone questions that when they show up to your channel. So it's like, I think people just like to see that energy.
I'm questioning the enthusiasm on and off. Like, how often do you get burnout?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. To me, like, I feel like my biggest struggle with creating is like I want to make videos of things that really interest me, and that's impossible to do with every single video. And so sometimes there are just microphones that like I get a mic that I'm like like there's nothing really like overly interesting about it. It can be tough to kind of get the enthusiasm to like film all this B-roll and to do all these different tests. And I try to make the tests like tests that I would like to watch someone perform, like practical tests, use them in music, use them in spoken word if it's a podcast mic. And it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. So it's tough to be enthused about every single video you're producing, I find.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. And yeah, what you said resonates with me too about like this mic. It's a handheld mic. There's no switches. There's not,
Mhm.
it's the basic tests. Andrew's with us right now. For those who don't know, Randy, can you hook us up with the Linky Link? Well, yeah, we can hook you up with the Linky Link, and we'll try to answer. Can you see the chat too, Randy?
Yeah, I got it up here as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll try to pay attention to that in between talking points and stuff. What's up, Pags? And yeah, get to some of that as well. Not that I'm expecting like hundreds of people to be here, because that's what happens when you're a sub 10,000, subscriber YouTube channel. It doesn't quite ebb and flow that easily. But I'm going to grab that link. But I am curious, Randy, because I know, and I think most people that watch me regularly know how I got into this stuff. But how did you get into this stuff?
Yeah. Oh man, that's the I feel like everyone who I talk to has a similar answer in that it's just this like this wild goose chase of figuring out what you want to do. I went to school for music, so I've always been in music production. Worked in theater for about 8 years as a musician performing.
That's awesome.
Worked on a cruise ship with my wife, playing as like an acoustic duo.
What cruise line?
P&O Cruise Lines from Australia.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're already infinitely more interesting than me.
whatever.
No, really? That's cool. That's like awesome.
It was really cool. It was one of those happy to have done it, happy to never do it again kind of experiences. Like just
Yeah.
the living quarters are dreadful, and obviously with kids now it would be nearly impossible to do. But yeah, that was a great experience. And then just working in a recording studio. So I opened a studio with a business partner of mine when I was like 20, 21, 22. Did that for about a decade. And we did a lot of live off the floor sessions. So I was pretty big into like microphone techniques and really understanding like, the tools and how you can really utilize them to get the best sort of recordings. And then I sort of got into like corporate content, and then decided one day I was like, I'm just going to make a review about a guitar pedal that I thought was really interesting. So I just did like a simple top down shot and like turned the knobs and played through it. And then I kind of just got hooked, and then I was into it. And yeah, it's a culmination of a bunch of really weird things that have all come together. But yeah, I'm learning that that's what makes a YouTube channel really unique too, is like your past skills and experiences and how those really like,
Yep.
inform your decisions in your videos.
Yeah, which is where I feel like a little bit of a hack, because like Bronson at Audio Hotline, he's been in bands and produced music. Jordan Kettner, who I like a lot, he's been in live sound for so long. Bandrew's been in bands, and like
Yeah.
there's so many musical backgrounds or production backgrounds, and like me, I watched a YouTube video about a microphone and decided I wanted to start a podcast, and that's so I have no background whatsoever.
But you got the guitars back there, or the basses,
Yeah,
guitar and
yeah,
a bass, yeah.
but I mean, God, I'm the same skill level now as I was when I started playing at 16. Like I it never grabbed me. It
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
like, playing guitar. My dad has played guitar in bands his whole life, and you know, he's been on the Billboard 200 with like
Oh,
one time.
cool.
He's like a one hit wonder.
Nice.
Nobody wouldn't heard of him. It's yeah, it's long time ago, but he's that dude on guitar, and
Mm.
and my brother plays guitar, he plays drums. They're both extremely musically talented, and I think that I could be if I cared,
Yeah.
because like if I want to write a song and do a song, I can do it,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be technical. It's going to be catchy, and it's going to be power chord catchy.
Yeah.
But I just never got into it. Like I never really, like, I played guitar, and I never was that kid that played until his fingers bled or
Mm.
got calloused. Like, I was like, oh, cool. I learned, 1/4 of a song. I'm happy. I'm going to go drink or something now,
That's
as a
interesting.
younger guy.
That's interesting because usually, like, when I talk to people that have either put their kids through lessons or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, the kid's just not interested," I find it's always because they took lessons and it was like the teacher kind of beat the love of the instrument out of them, just making them do things they didn't want to do. But
Yeah.
hearing you say that you actually like could learn songs and you just didn't have that like the fire, I guess that's interesting.
No. Yeah.
That's
Self-taught completely. and it shows. It shows that I'm self-taught because I didn't take it anywhere,
Yeah.
And lo and behold, like apparently I just like to hear myself talk or something because as soon as microphones came into the picture, I was like, this is it. This is my instrument. Like I don't
Yeah.
really care about the other one, but I am going to buy a set of drums because I am a one hell of a steering wheel drummer. So I think that might translate over
Oh, for
fairly
sure.
well.
Um,
Maybe.
I do have a question for you. Why the obscure mics?
Um, Bandrew, honestly, Bandrew is why the obscure mics, which is why I'll always feel indebted because when I started the podcast, which was me and two buddies doing a fantasy football podcast, which was what I thought my hobby was. Terrible
Cool.
hobby. Um, Before this, uh, I didn't know how to start a podcast, so I found Bandrew's channel and got the tips and tricks to make it work. So
Mm.
I didn't follow his advice on all the gear because I'm also not a rich man. I'm a one income family, and we do well. We're fine, but it's still like I don't
Yeah.
spend unless I really need something.
Yeah.
And after using, gosh, I think I bought some Neewer NW700s, some really
I'm looking
crappy
these up.
condenser mics. Yeah. Oh, you don't know about the Neewers? Randy,
NW.
you're going to fall in love with them. You're going to put your LS208 in the trash after you use the Neewer NW700.
Oh, okay. No, I know this microphone. You
Yeah,
know,
turd mic.
it's so funny because I'm so bad with names of things. Like even mics that I've reviewed in the past, I couldn't tell you half the names of them. Okay, yeah,
I,
no, I've seen this all over the place.
I think that's my superpower is I'm not bad with names. Like somebody could be
Okay.
like, have you heard of, the Starlink 7054? And I'm like, God, that microphone's so good for the price.
Yeah.
But no, like watching his stuff, I threw together a podcast and then it became an obsession. What, how can I make a podcast sound good, but throw it together as cheaply as possible? Because there's always good budget stuff out there. Like,
Yeah, especially
but
now. Especially now. It's
yeah,
getting
budget
crazy.
phones, budget watches, budget, I just like budget gear.
Yeah.
So
The
after
budget gear is an
watching,
interesting space because it's like
it is,
they're getting so good.
they are, and it's
The-
kind of making things weird for me.
Fair.
But it's also less budgety and more like, well, obscure. So, Bandrew was reviewing stuff that I come to find everybody had heard of, and then I would run into a mic that, if I ran into a mic like used on Guitar Center, or Musician's Friend, or Reverb, or something like that, if it looked interesting, I'd look it up. And if there was no YouTube video, I'm like, why is there no YouTube video? I really want to know what this, Sterling microphone sounds like, or this
Yeah.
old Tascam from the 70s. And if there wasn't a video, the way my mind operates is like, if nobody's doing something and it's of interest to me, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So,
I love this.
that's what I did. I found microphones on Reverb that there were no videos of, and I'm like, I'm going to be, which I've been called this before. It's like, I'm going to be the Behringer podcastage. Like, I'm going to be the low, like the Big Lots or the, I don't know what other kind of low end grocery or convenience stores or whatever out there that people go to shop at.
Yeah.
Like the bargain places. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to fill the gaps in between what he's doing and what like, a Curtis Judd is doing or somebody that's doing high end gear.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the person that finds the mic that's been discontinued for 20 years. And if somebody wants to know what it sounds like, they'll have to listen to me do it.
Oh, can I show you
And-
a mic? I
Oh,
got
yeah.
one that I think you'll appreciate. Hang on.
Yes, 100%. And don't judge me for drinking a Miller Lite on camera. I drink one beer a month.
Shoot, I just realized the box is like zip tied to my pegboard that I have over there, but it's this little guy. Realistic.
Oh, yeah.
I can see if I can get this up here. Realistic, omnidirectional, 600 ohms, highball 2 it's called, and I believe is from the 70s, and it plugs in with a 1/4 inch. Gotta love this thing. Little on-off switch there. I feel like
There's
this
a-
is right up your alley.
There's a guy in the Discord server for the channel. I am Dollar Tree to the mic space. That's correct.
Dollar Tree to the
I
mic
am Dollar Tree mic guy.
I've thought about doing that as a review, by the way, going to like Dollar Tree and just grabbing what they have there.
I have done it.
Have
I've
you?
I've got one mic from Dollar General. It's right here. Oh God. Yeah, I went into Dollar General and there was like this weird condenser mic that's
Oh, it actually looks pretty cool.
It's not.
It's not.
USB and a 3/4. So the USB is for the LED lights only, and this thing's plastic as shit.
Yeah.
And the 1/4 inch is for the sound, and it's like, or the 3.5 is for the sound. And I've got a 5 below mic over here. I just haven't got to yet. So if I see a microphone in a place like that, I'm like, is it a sleeper? Is it a gym?
Yeah.
Just hiding out?
Everyone's sleeping on this. It's the next big studio microphone.
Yeah, it hasn't really worked out too well.
Yeah.
There's been a few that have been like sleeper mics that have happened, but I don't know. I'm such a gearhead. I think that's what it boils down to is like, I am purely a gearhead.
Yeah.
And then, since I have no background, when I watch a Randy Rector video and see you using this LS208 all the time, and and for me right now, that's the mic.
I love it.
Like, that's the mic.
Yeah.
There's some that are right there with it, but that's the one. So I'm like, Randy's got good taste, which I've seen more than just you talking on an, LS208.
Yeah.
But, that's just one of those connections. It's like, okay, maybe I at least know what I'm talking about a little bit if I'm coming to agreeance with Randy and Bronson and others on this mic. So validation is always good.
This was one of the most interesting microphones that I've seen in a while, just with the actual filters they have built onto it. Just sounds great. To me, it's so practical. It's built like a freaking tank. Just
Shock
sounds
mount's
great on a
awesome.
desk. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and the case too, and I think the price is totally reasonable for what it is. Not enough good things to say about this.
No, me neither. And that's the thing. Like, that's where I get a little bit of burnout from, is like, that mic is probably the last mic that I felt was like innovative or fresh or new.
Yeah.
Like, I got that Shure SM4 and it's a really good mic, but when you just look at it on the surface, it's like what is innovative? What is new? What is pushing the boundaries, or can I find another mic like this?
Yeah.
That's similar to it, and that LS208, it's like, I have not used anything like this, so this is special.
Yeah. I find a lot of these sort of off-brand microphones are like 6 months to a year behind where everyone else is. Like, I get the emails for like check out our Rode Wireless Go. That's not, it's like their Rode Wireless Go. It's a total ripoff. Has no new features, and it's just 6 months behind the Rode Wireless Go, and the price isn't like that much better. And so I look at something like that, and I'm like, well, like, you're not doing anything innovative. It's almost the same price, so I would probably just get a Rode Wireless Go. I'd feel really, I don't know, I'd feel like a phony talking about this to people and suggesting that they use it, unless it's like just sounds amazing, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know. It is tough. Like, I like to look for the innovation in products. Actually, I just did a video. I titled it like, finally, innovation in the audio
little
space.
box.
Yeah, the Audigo microphones.
Audigo, yes.
Which are so cool for musicians who are playing like live acoustic music. A little lacking on like the getting electronic instruments in. Like, you couldn't plug in like a guitar, like an electric guitar or anything like that. But man, little mid-side pair in a tiny little box, connects wirelessly to your phone over Wi-Fi, so it's not a Bluetooth mic. Just like, it does what Riverside does. It sends the good recording to the phone afterwards.
Yeah.
So you get this like really high fidelity out of a tiny little box that you can like magnet stick to any pole. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason I can't, like, I just switched to iPhone not that long ago, because I can stick it to my filing cabinet at work, and it's like, that's kind of fun.
You just
the magnetic stuff or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the Audigo box, and this is something I've been struggling with lately. Like, at some point, like, you kind of realize that even though we all love audio and we all love high-end gear, two out of three of my favorite podcasts are recorded with Yetis, because I reached out to them and asked, like, what do you make your podcast with?
That's interesting.
2 out of 3 is a Yeti. And I have absolutely zero issue listening to those podcasts. They sound perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So I've been running into this problem where I'm just kind of not impressed with stellar audio like I used to be.
I know. Yeah.
And you talked about the Rode Wireless Go 2, and I've got this little tiny, the Hollyland Lark M2, that little wireless setup. Well, there's a ton of ripoffs on Amazon now.
Yeah.
And they're black and yellow and, little magnet clip, and they're so tiny. And I've got one, and it's like from Rythlo or something is the brand name of it.
Yeah.
It's a nothing. It's literally an off-brand. But for what it is, I'm like, this sounds as good as the Rode Wireless
I
Go.
know.
I'm almost confident. And the Rode Wireless Go is a big old square chunk. And like this, you can barely notice it clipped to, and you know, the audio, like I recently got into the TikTok phase of stuff. And,
You're
and
down
I,
that rabbit hole, eh?
yeah, I've done that. Not watching, because I don't, I don't like watching TikTok, but like making stuff for TikTok.
Yeah.
Like I fell into that rabbit hole with the wireless stuff. Like I really like using TikTok for like short little
Hmm.
wireless gear videos. And once you do a video like with your phone and then slap on the wireless thing, it's like, okay, we're not getting studio level audio here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you compare the two, it's like this is impressive.
Yeah. I saw your video. You did I forget what they're called. The
Same
little,
thing though. Oh wait, no, might be different.
you
Anyways,
did
go.
the phone, like oh shoot, what is it? iRig, like the phone plug-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually, that was interesting to hear because there was pretty significant difference I found in those two that you tested out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. But still usable.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, no
Yeah.
issues there. But yeah, it's making it hard for me. Like I'm making more content with like mid-grade audio these days, and seeing very little issue with it.
Yes. That's a challenge too about how people consume content these days too, because
That's it.
I was actually gonna make a video. It's on my list of videos I want to do. It's like how YouTube destroys your audio, and I wanted to upload a video to YouTube and then re-download it, and then basically like just do a straight up comparison of like one video upload, how that compares to the raw audio that I uploaded, because I do find like these audio tests, like mic shootouts and mic reviews, the one biggest flaw is how people are consuming them.
Yeah,
And so I love like what Bandrew does is like uploading high quality wave files with the tests. Um, yeah, it's just it's a challenge of the platform.
yeah, it is. And the reason it took me so long to get on the TikTok bandwagon is because when you upload to TikTok, it changes the audio drastically.
For sure.
It sounds like trash, like
Yeah.
compared to like one of Bandrew's tests where he uploads high quality audio. Like it doesn't sound good, but if you're consuming on a phone, it does sound good. Like
Hmm.
you know, and it's a struggle now. And I think a lot of people, I don't know if you've experienced this, but it seems like a lot of us are experiencing less viewership, less
Mm,
time watched. Just, you know, numbers are kind of dropping pretty heavily.
yeah.
And I feel like that is, well, Bronson's got a nice theory about this we're going to talk about on our podcast, but I'll only give away his theory and not dive deep into it. But like everybody kind of seems to have their setup. Like
Yeah.
if they're creating content or making a podcast, like everybody's kind of got their setup. Less people, I think, are looking for their setup these days because we have been in this space of everybody becoming a creator, just like everybody made a podcast in
Yeah.
2020. So everybody seems to have their gear. So now we're just kind of talking to fellow gearheads at this point, maybe.
Yeah. A little bit of inside baseball for sure. But you know,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see like all this noise reduction technology and stuff like that that's coming down the pipeline and is super easy to run like in your DAW or in in your application that runs your microphone and stuff like that. I'm anxious to see if those make their way into the microphones. Like obviously with USB microphones being powered, it'd be really easy to do.
Yeah. And
Well,
they are.
relatively easy, but
Yeah. And they definitely are.
yeah. But like I'm wondering if it's going to get to the point where isotope or something like that is just like it's baked into your microphone. You know, it's a really high quality noise reduction. And then all these things about, well, actually, I just saw Lewis doing it with the Ray, not noise reduction, but the proximity compensation.
Yep.
Wild. Like, that
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah. That's innovative. You know,
Yes.
but for who? You know, that's the next question. Like for singers, absolutely. Because, you know, you drift off the mic back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I wish I had that mic to check out, but then again, like everybody's kind of hit it up, and it's like, what can I bring to the table besides dick jokes? Um, but yeah, that's
But they're
innovation.
appreciated.
Oh, they are appreciated. Yeah, there are plenty of juvenile, full-grown adults out there that do appreciate it, seemingly.
For
But
sure.
yeah, it's interesting to see, you know, what is going to be next. And noise reduction is part of that. Those little clip-on mics, like so many of those have noise reduction now. And one video I did, you know, out in this park I frequent a lot, like you could hear so much crickets and bugs and like cicadas
Mm,
so much stuff. And then I slap that little thing on with noise cancellation mode, and it's just my voice. And it's like, this is,
that's
even though
wild,
this is
eh?
a rip off of another, like, this is amazing. Like, this
Yeah.
is quite frankly just fantastic.
I feel like it's just going to contribute to like a bit of a separation between people that actually need really, really high quality studio microphones and like kind of the rest of the world, right? Like that split's going to become bigger because I feel like there are less people going from really cheap equipment to sort of that mid-range equipment, which I feel like kind of getting pushed out now.
Yeah.
And then there's still going to be that like upper echelon of high quality studio microphones, but that like mid, like we're killing the middle class with the microphones here, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because who wants to buy mid? Who wants to buy a $200 or $300 mic when like the real
Yeah.
options now are $50
Yeah.
or $500?
Yeah.
It's like the middle class of mics is kind of, suffering, except for again us gearheads that want to try it all.
Yeah.
Um,
I want every one of them.
yeah, but I mean, honest to God, like at the end of the day, I did a video on this D Deborah like DM58. I think I got this for like 10 or $12.
That's wild.
It sounds great. Like it seriously sounds great. So like podcasting mics, like at this point, why do you spend more? So
Yeah. How many microphones do you think you own?
it's not anything crazy. Um, shoot.
As you look around your entire room.
Yeah, because this habitat is strictly for gear, and it is a hot mess.
Yeah, mine's really bad, but on this side of the room where nobody can see.
I'd
The
say
camera is very strategic.
75,
Okay.
maybe. Nothing. I try to sell it. I try to sell everything because I can't use them all. Like, how am I going to use 75 or 80 mics or
Yeah.
even 20 mics?
Yeah.
So
I have this weird kind of like I can't get rid of them because I have to keep them in case there's a video that needs to be done about something that needs a
you got
comparison.
Bandrew syndrome then.
Yeah.
He keeps them all.
Yeah.
And there will be a mic museum one day. I wish I could keep them all, but like at the end of the day, it's like if I keep them all, I'm not able to buy any. So
Yeah.
now, granted, these days most of the mics are sent, but I bought a Takstar mic yesterday because Takstar sent me one mic, didn't like my review, and they're like, screw that guy. So
Really?
yeah, well, they didn't say that, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they thought it after watching the video. They were like, "Yep, never again." Nope. Maybe I'll get back in their good graces if
Hey,
this
also
one's good.
Bandrew did promise a mic tour, right? At what was
He
it?
did.
F-
Have we
Uh,
ever gotten that?
I think it was at 500,000 subs, a mic tour.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
so we haven't got. He's at like what the high 300s or something like that.
I'm
I was
very
getting-
anxious for the
I was
tour.
getting ready to call him a really bad word, but I'll hold off until he hits 500. Let's go for a few questions real quick. Jan, which thanks for dropping by, Jan. Haven't seen you in a while. Asked, have you guys seen Behringer, however you want to pronounce it? They're dropping prices across all their digital products. I, for one, have not, because when Behringer released that podcast D2 that I can't sell for $10 even, I was like kind of out on Behringer at that point. But have you noticed any price drops?
I haven't seen anything. Honestly,
haven't either.
yeah, to be honest, I don't shop all that much for microphones. Like I yeah. I basically just watch YouTube videos. That's honestly how the vast majority of my mic research happens. Um yeah, haven't seen anything on it.
I haven't either. And then Roselle asked, have y'all, I like that you threw in y'all, already covered that new Shure mic? I have, if this is the one you're talking about, the SM4, which I do really, really, really like, even though there's nothing like super outstanding or different about the sound. There's something about the fact that I know I'm not going to pop it, and I don't know. It's not innovative, but it's damn near perfect for the price point, in my opinion.
How much is it?
You can get the mic for $199, or you can get the whole kit for $269, and it's got, an all metal shock mount, a nice metal magnetic pop filter. It
Yeah, that's not
doesn't
bad,
even
eh?
hardly pop without the pop filter, so when you slap that on, it's that much better. I don't know, it's just a really solid mic.
I had a similar opinion when the Sennheiser Profile mic came out. It was like I felt like finally USB microphones were getting to a stage where the self noise wasn't abysmal. Like it was pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Just a good, solid option, small form factor, like, you know, decent
Yeah.
all around performance at a pretty good price. I'm like, man, it's nice to see these big companies start like, getting into this space and like, taking a bite out of it.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I'll be upfront. I didn't love the sound of the profile. I didn't hate it. Like there was still this digital aspect to it for
Hmm.
some reason. I don't know. I don't know if there's. I've yet to hear a USB mic that doesn't have this like. I guess I'll call it a digital sizzle.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, sometimes you plug up a really expensive XLR mic. I'm thinking of the Heil PR40, which I think has that same sizzle,
Hmm.
just not as digital sounding. But yeah, I'm still
Yeah. It's,
waiting on a condenser USB mic that I think lacks that bit of a digital artifact up top.
yeah. It's got to be something in the conversion happening. I wish I knew what caused that because I know exactly what you mean. It's like that, just the S's sound funny. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's just
yeah.
real high up on the frequency. Like even if it doesn't show it in the graph, like there's just something, you know,
Hmm.
year 2030 about it. Just
Yeah.
something that's a little more Tron than analog, I guess you could say. I agree with you, Andrew, on it being direct competition to the LCT 440 because the magnetic pop filter and it's a little
Nice.
bright and I don't know. I gotta hand it to Shure. It seemed like it was a long ass time before they were just kind of resting on their laurels with the SM7B and the SM58. Now they finally
Mm.
dropped another handheld, dropped another condenser. I
They're
at
doing
least
some
want to
cool
see,
stuff.
yeah, I at least want to see companies like give it a go. I still don't think anybody is really bringing it or trying to take it to road, and it surprises me. Like no one's
Yeah.
trying to, and then when someone does, like Mackie, Road's like, we'll just buy them.
Mm.
We'll just purchase Mackie since they're
Yeah.
trying to come
Rode's
at
always
us.
been in a weird spot, because it like before they were doing the sort of low budget studio stuff, like the entry level studio stuff, and then they just jumped into this like film content creator world, and yeah, they've been. It seems like they've been relatively unfazed.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still waiting on it. The budget companies tried, but of course, they all threatened to sue me after reviewing their stuff too. But that's good times. That's what makes this channel fun.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, sure
we,
did the move mic, which I thought was kind of cool. It was a neat little.
yeah, they sent that one over, and I really, yeah, I enjoyed it. But again, it didn't really. Okay, innovation wise, there have been Bluetooth mics like that, but they
Yeah.
suck. So that's the first Bluetooth clip-on that didn't suck.
It was really small too. I think that's got to be one of the
Super small. Like I
big
took it
wins
to
for
my
it.
one of my kids went to a birthday party,
Yeah.
and I had it on me, and I wanted to like record him skating
Hmm.
with my phone, but have the audio be really good or at least decent. And I was able to just stick that in the fifth pocket of my jeans, and like just having it in that little coin pocket was like, this is just awesome. Like I don't
Yeah.
need a receiver. I can just hook it on him, Bluetooth to that Shure Motive app. Like it was really cool. But the sound was very similar to every other
Yeah.
wireless. That's the thing. It's
I
like
also can't
there's
get into using those just because you get locked to the app. Like, I don't want to have to
yes.
record video inside of your app and then send
Yep.
that to my camera roll, upload that to TikTok. Like, it's just missing that. It's just missing that little link, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like that's what a lot of this gear is. What's happening is like, they're doing some things, but like nobody's perfecting anything, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Even Rode for that matter, because I see a lot of issues with those units.
Hmm.
Like I think Stargate Pioneer from the Better Podcasting podcast has went through 3 or 4 of them and had to send them back for repair like 3 and 4 times. And it's like, man, and I have well, they're not going to watch this, so I'm not going to piss them off too bad. But like I am currently waiting on my third Rode Signature series. Like the first one I got was, I don't know if the capsule mount was broke, but if I
Really?
if I set my arm on my table, it's like coming. It was terrible.
Really?
Second one, dead. Doesn't work. Doesn't do anything. Like,
What? This is crazy.
well, I mean, I think they cheaped out. Like, I
Yeah.
think they really cheaped out on it. Like, it's lightweight. The metal feels like and the knee where I was telling you about that cheap condenser mic,
Yeah.
and it just feels like nothing in your hand. It's like they really cheaped out. Like this, it felt like, you know, there's a Behringer mic. I don't remember what one it was, but it just felt like nothing in your hand, and that's what the Signature Series. I'm kind of hating on the Signature Series right now
Yeah.
in a big way. So I don't love. I'm okay with cheaping out if your mic's going to be 20-30 bucks. Like I've got a stupid Shure MV7 ripoff,
Hmm.
and by ripoff I mean like
Oh
rip
wow, they're
off.
like, look at
Oh,
that brand.
blatant.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, look at the
Oh
branding.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like lawsuit central.
This is plastic,
Okay.
and it was like $20. It's one of the XLR USB, which are, at this point is just like infuriating.
Like the
Just to
font
see
too.
another. Oh, dude, yeah.
That's
Like,
wild.
but there's no brand name on it, so if they can just get them all sold out on Amazon and run, they'll probably never get sued.
That's crazy.
But that thing's like $20. Like I get cheaping out on $20. I did not know when I ordered it it was going to come with Shure's branding all over it, basically. But cheaping out's okay if you're charging nothing for the mic. But
Yeah.
I do have the NT1 5th edition mic. I don't. Mike Wyman said that the NT1 5th edition is so worth the extra money. I'm positive of that. I have not opened mine yet, but it's right down here by my desk.
Yeah, Jan
And
says,
I know that it's built better, and I know that it's way better, but the Signature Series has me a little upset right now.
Jan said about TikTokers. The irony is that TikTokers will use a wired Apple headphone mic taped to a spatula and get billions of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do the the little tiny microphone and like
Yeah.
interview people with that.
Like
But you know
miniature
what?
version of this. Yeah.
It still works,
I
and it
know.
still doesn't sound that bad. Like,
Yeah.
and I've said this more times than I can count, but I've got a buddy that lives around here, and he records hip hop and rap, and he played one of his songs for me, and it was fantastic. I was like, this is a banger, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what mic did you use? He's like, my Samsung inline to my headphones. I was like, no, you didn't.
No way.
You did not. He's like, yeah. He's like, you slap reverb on any mic, and you're good.
That, like,
And EQ it a little bit.
Hurts
It's
my
gonna work.
soul.
I know. I know. And I
Oh,
was just
man.
like, dude, that's like blasphemy, basically. But at the end of the day, the song sounded good in my car, and I thought he recorded it on a real mic, which I guess he did, but at the same time he didn't. And I was like,
You know
this is
what's-
kind of blowing me away right now that you recorded it on that.
One of my teachers in school said, because we always had people had the question, well, can I just use like cheaper gear? What's the big issue with it? And he had an interesting point. He said one of the challenges with cheaper gear is that he said, let's take like a really cheap microphone's whole frequency spectrum. It may have, he called it little farts every once in a while. It's just gonna have this little area that just like sucks. And he said what's gonna happen is if you keep recording with that same microphone over and over again, you're gonna wind up with a big pile of shit by the end of the recording because it's just constantly building up in these areas that are really unflattering.
Yeah.
And so he said, if you have a bunch of cheap gear, use it over using one piece of cheap gear constantly, like on the same mix. So if you have like 40 channels of the same microphone with the same ringing frequency happening, it's just
That
gonna
makes sense.
really accentuate it in the mix, which
Yeah.
I thought was kind of interesting. Like you can actually get away with a cheap mic if you're, taking the time to treat it right. I feel like microphone placement is just so underrated too. And actually, I was just
Me too.
watching one of Banter's videos today. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing some like tutorial videos that are really good.
Yeah, and he just had a great point about like, honestly, any of these microphones are going to work perfectly if your mic placement is done right or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
terribly paraphrasing here, but
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I see a video on a pop filter. I'm like, I don't use those sons of bitches. I don't need pop filter. And I may have just popped that slightly saying that just now, but like really, and that's one of the things. I know I've mentioned him way too many times, but like that's one of the first things that I picked up that I got confident with was, mic placement, and that's because literally the first person I ever heard say it was Bandrew. Like just angle
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Talk past it, and it's not really a thing now. Obviously, sometimes because you move and it becomes a little bit of a thing, but for the most part, it doesn't. So it drives me nuts when I see somebody talking with it right in front of their
I
pie
get
hole.
this
and
ad served to me all the time. I'm pretty sure it's for Elgato or something like that. And it's like a girl working at her desk and she's got a Blue Yeti like way up in outer space pointing down. I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah,
I would love
it's
to hear what
rough.
she sounds like on a Zoom call.
I remember Bronson sent me a video or a picture, and it was from like one of the newer Halloween movies, and it was somebody using a an Electro Voice RE20 and it was hanging upside down like
Oh,
a condenser, and they were talking into the, and I was like, oh god, that's great.
yeah,
Liberty
yeah.
dude, microphones are overrated. All you need is smoke signals. That's right. But yeah, that's a thing. And then I've got this buddy that's pretty big in the fantasy football community, podcaster wise, and
Hmm.
such a good dude. And he, you know, thanks to guys like you and other people on YouTube, like I learn a little more about audio all the time. So I've got this, these buddies I've met over the years doing podcasting and stuff that ask me for advice and questions and this and that. And I know that he's very hobbyist and very casual. And this has been a few years ago anyways, before there were better options. I was like, just grab a Samson Q2U, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing a remote podcasting, you just want to sound good. He got it. He sounded really good. His voice worked on it really well. I don't love the V
Nice.
shape anymore, but his voice works better than most I've heard on it. And he has it like literally this is how his mic sits on his desk, like this,
Yeah.
like completely running across him, and he's and it's even like this, or I don't even know,
Yeah.
but it's
Wild,
it's
eh?
nowhere near that. And I've messaged him so many times, and I'm like, damn it, Matt, like you have to talk into it. You can't talk like. He's
Yeah.
like, you can hear me though, right? And I was like, I can, yeah, but like it would sound so much better if you just a little,
Yeah. You get all
just
that
just a
high end
little.
back. It'd be nice and crispy.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little, and he will not do it. And I'm like, I've seen other people using their mic completely sideways. Like, what is this new thing where everybody's just using their mic sideways?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I see people in SM7Bs, like way down here. There's a
Mm-hmm.
particular guy I watch that it's like on his desk on like a short stand and pointing up at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, why own the mic? Why
Yeah.
even use it? Just get like if you're gonna do that, just get like a boundary mic or something.
Yeah. Just use your computer microphone.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're not
yeah.
getting much advantage. I used to work at a company that was it was like a voiceover marketplace that would connect people with voice talent who were looking to hire them basically. And one of my jobs there was to work with talent getting onto the site that wanted to pursue voice acting as a career. And so I was there as like the audio guy to help them, make sure their audio setup was ready to go. So I'd talk to like 40 different people a day on their audio setup. And the things you hear about, man, just like people with they bought a microphone, they've recorded 1,000 auditions and it hasn't been plugged in. Or like just and I'll be like working with them for like 20 minutes, like racking my brain. I'm like, your audio, it just sounds like you're 5 feet away. I don't understand. I'm like, can
Yep.
we just check the cables one more time? And they're like, oh yeah, it's not plugged in. Like,
Yeah.
you've been working for months on this. Like, oh man.
And I hate to roll my eyes because I've been there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I have totally been there. Me and Bronson did a podcast, and my webcam, on a secondary setup that I used to have, like whole episode when I was talking through a freaking like,
Oh
Razer webcam or something. I was like, God, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that I just forgot to change the audio source. I was like, but at the same time, you didn't say shit. You didn't tell me anything.
yeah.
Like,
He's got his headphones on. He's like, you sound
yeah,
great.
like, dude, yeah, this is great, fantastic sounding. Like, is that a
Yeah. Always tap the
Neumann?
mic before you record.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's key. Love that.
definitely have learned my lesson.
Isn't that funny, eh?
What are you using today? I know you've got the LS208, but what interface are we plugged into? What
Yeah.
headphones are we rocking?
So I got the Universal Audio Volt 176. So just a single channel, but it has like the compressor on it, which is really nice just because I just wanted a like I have my mix pre set up right here for my videos that I use. So I do all my testing and recording through that. But I didn't want to use that as an interface because it kind of, I don't know, you got to like menu dive to make it interface mode.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted something that I could have on to power my speakers. So I got the Universal Audio Volt 176 single channel, has a compressor on it. So yeah, pretty basic setup, but I just love it. It's been
Yeah,
nice and clean. I also love that I can turn this off and my speakers don't pop. And I'm not sure if that's the interface or the speakers causing that, but I don't have to do the whole like, turn on the interface, then turn on the speakers. Like I
Yep.
can, whatever order I do it in, I don't get a nasty pop. So
We're in the
very
same
thankful.
boat there because I'm very hooked on this Yamaha AG06 like mixer.
I'm looking it up.
Same thing. It's got compression built in. one click, and I can, it's got a little bit of software. I can go in and shape that compression if I want to, but
Oh,
it's
nice.
basic and it's not anything super major, and it also does not pop my monitors when I turn it on and off, and that's a big reason
Love
it's
that.
still sitting on my desk. I love mixers. That for some reason, like, first podcast started on a mixer, and
Mm.
I just can't quite get away from the love for mixers because I'm like, man, there's so compared to an interface, a traditional interface, there's so many more options almost by default. But when it's a digital mixer, it's also still an interface. I'm like, so why don't more people
I
use
know.
mixers?
It's an interesting thought. Yeah, and you can do so much with it. It would actually be, I mean, it makes sense for a micro viewer too, because you can just plug things in so easily.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I hate is everything being top loaded, like XLR sticking straight up. And I,
Right.
I do value, interfaces that got the XLR in the back or,
Yeah.
so on
You
and
know,
so
that's
forth.
my one gripe with this Volt 176. Everything comes at the back. Even I think they have MIDI cables on the back, which is like, but the XLR comes right out the front. So it
Yep.
comes out, does a 180 and goes out the back. And that strain on that cable, I look at it all day long, and I'm just like, and it's a wired pole, like a boom pole here, or
Yeah.
desk stand, whatever you want to call it. And so I know that cable's just gonna die at some point, and I just have to embrace that.
Yeah.
And I stare at it just bent right in front of me, and it drives me nuts.
Do you have a preference or opinion on cables? Because one thing I've ran across, and I know this varies across the spectrum of people that are talking audio on YouTube, but I
Mm.
seriously can't find a reason to not use just a basic cable.
Yeah, I just have like the pretty much all my cables are like the $20 Yorkville. That's a Canadian brand, I think, but it's just like I don't know. It's what you get at like your Guitar Center,
Yeah.
just basic cables. I do find like a big difference with some of the microphones that are sent over. Actually, this guy, have you heard of Movo?
Yeah, I have that mic. I'm
Oh, do
getting ready
you?
to do it too. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about it here in a minute.
Okay, the cable inside that came with it sucks. Like whenever I
Yeah.
get those cables
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
come bundled with these sort of off-brand microphones, I just
Yep.
like you can tell the second you pull it out, it just doesn't feel like a nice cable, you know?
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and that's there we go again. Like you've got cheap and you've got expensive, but I like the middle ground.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't buy like them. What is it like Mogami or like
No.
those? Yeah, just
Yeah,
that's
I've got
that's too much.
one, and it came with a mic I bought, and I was like pleasantly surprised.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
ooh, my first Mogami cable, and it's fine. But
Yeah.
like, and it feels great. But I guess something I run into with the higher end cables, some of the mid range or budget mics I find, the cable's really tight. Can't get
Mm,
it, in and out. So, and the cheap cables fit in everything, it seems. But
yeah.
that Movo UM6, um, I do a podcast where I do like a 3-minute test on some microphones, and
Cool.
I don't really advertise it because then that will probably kill some of the viewership on YouTube, but it gives me like, something to listen to that I'm also not like, I feel like everything I do, I should publish. And
Mm,
if anyone watches any of my other channels, I was like, yeah, that dude will publish anything. Jesus, stop, dude. Because it's like, doesn't matter. Just
yeah.
doesn't matter what it is. If I'm working on it, like the fruits of my labor are going out on the interwebs in some way or form. But I was doing that UM6 and I used it in USB mode. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool features. This is actually different. It's a little bit, I hate to call it innovative,
Mhm.
but it is a little bit different than everything else, especially for the XLR USB stuff that they're
Mhm.
just pounding into the ground right now.
Yeah, everyone's doing it. Yeah.
Yes, but
Got
my
the Feel World and the
yeah, I got that one.
Fine or yeah.
Fine, X Tech. I think there's just so many that $20 sure rip off. But I use that, and I was going to make a 3-minute podcast, and like, hey, this is the UM6. That's what it sounds like. Da, 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 this how my, and I go to plug my XLR recorder on it, which is my favorite little Tascam DR10X, little
Yeah.
tiny plug-on recorder, and nothing. I get nothing.
Yeah.
I'm emailing
I know what you're saying.
Movo.
It needs Phantom, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I've never
Like I emailed
found
customer support. I was like, "Send me a broken mic. Can I get a replacement?" And they're like, "Well, let's troubleshoot." And I'm like, I'm not cocky ever, but I'm like, damn it, I love microphones. I know what I'm doing. We don't need to go through this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, did you turn Phantom Power on? Like, because it's the gain cast that each. I was like, son of a bitch.
Okay, I don't think I've ever. Maybe I'm just living under a rock, but I don't think I've ever had a dynamic mic that needed Phantom, like one of these. Anyways, I can't think of a single one that I've used before.
Not an XLR USB. Sterling makes handhelds that are Phantom powered.
Do they?
Blue
Yeah.
makes a handheld that's Phantom powered or made
Okay.
back in the day. And then you got the Aston Stealth broadcast mic that's Phantom powered.
Okay, so there are a few, eh?
There are a few, yeah. Never have I seen an XLR USB one, and I even looked at the box and I'm like, what the hell is Gaincast? What kind of gimmick are they pushing? And like, yeah, he's like, did you turn Phantom Power on? I was like, well, no. He's like, well, yeah, that's what you need for the mic to like it. You know, it's got a booster built in. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I feel stupid now. I just didn't expect that out of like a Movo XLR USB mic, I
I
guess.
will
But
say this: the little magnetic pop filter,
yep,
pretty slick.
it is slick.
Pretty slick.
Definitely can't bump it because that
You
rattle
bump it off all the
happens.
time. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I was messing around with it and I was like, I barely touched it and it was like, and
Yeah.
I was like, dang it, this needs to be boomed.
Yeah, it's
But
not a great mic
not
for
a
someone.
mic you hand hold anyway. So.
If somebody wants to like grab their mic all the time and move around, it's not going to be great for that for sure.
No. I
Neat
haven't got
little
a
thing.
feel for the sound yet. I don't know if you've got an opinion on the sound yet or
I've
not.
just
but
plugged it in, realized that it requires Phantom Power, was weirded out by it, put that in my notes, and then I was like, and then that's the last I used it.
was weirded out by it, so I put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to hook it back up. I've only used it in USB so far, and I was like, yeah, I was like, it's a, I don't know if
USB
you've
mic.
gotten to this point either, but like, my most common phrase, told to myself internally is like, yeah, it's a dynamic. It sounds like a dynamic. There's nothing really
Yeah.
special about it.
Some that's like a tough thing, right? Is like if there isn't something uniquely special about. I mean, this is just like the challenge of publishing content. But I kind of battled with this thing where I always felt like I needed to have like pillar staple content. Like if like I had to have like such a good idea, or like it was just I got massive what do they call it, analysis paralysis, where I'm like
Yeah.
would spend too much time just thinking, and then I see these channels that are like reviewing, I don't know, cookies or something like that, and like they'll
Fucking love cookies.
oh my god, yeah, but
My
like
addiction. It's the reason I am what I am.
they'll put out like a video every single day being like, hey, I'm trying out this one, it's good, it's this, it's that, but they're not like, what am I trying to say here? It's like they're not so worried about like this needs to be the definitive definition of this. It's like, yeah, I can say every single mic is like a really good dynamic microphone to use if it's a really good dynamic microphone to use without sort of like needing another angle. And maybe it's just gonna be like a bit boring content, or they'll look at my list of shorts and be like, oh, this guy has reviewed 50 shorts and said kind of the same thing for all of them.
Yeah.
But like they're all pretty good. They all have their use cases. They'd be a great, starting mic for a content creator. It's tough to get off that angle. It's like,
It is, yeah, and I think that's my problem with the dick and boob jokes and stuff is like because if what do I really have to say that somebody else isn't saying? And it's like, well, if I can get a few chuckles out of this video, if people are coming like not just for the mic or not even for the mic at that point, it's like I have to bring something other than a mic test because everyone's doing mic tests better than me technically because I don't know about you. I work, and I'm gone more than I'm home. And
yeah.
so for me to do like, 20 different mic comparisons and a guitar test and this, I can't. Like I just literally can't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not bringing to the table what everyone's bringing to mic test wise. So I'm going to make a penis joke.
I love it.
And that's just going to have to be what sells my channel to people is like a little bit of comic relief while also getting what essentially is just a sound sample.
Yeah, no, that's great. My wife I used to have her, I don't know why we stopped doing this, but she used to like interrupt me when I was recording with just like a canned joke. She would just come in and like make a joke and it would like totally interrupt the recording, but I would always leave it in.
That sounds
And
awesome. I have
was
not
great.
seen any of those, so I need to find those. Maybe
This
I've
was like
only
2
watched
to
the
3 years
second
ago.
half. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be seeking those out now because that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah,
Like, just
I still get comments.
interruptions or gaffes. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I still get
There's too
comments
much
today being
perfection.
like, "Hey, I subscribed because your wife like that was a hilarious joke or
Yeah.
something like that." And I'm like, "Well, I spent 3 weeks reviewing that microphone, but that's cool, whatever."
And then she
Like,
comes in with,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's awesome. See, now I want to seek that out because that's what makes it fun to me, Like
Yeah,
Bronson's kitty purr test. I'm like, nobody else doing a kitty purr test. This is awesome.
yeah.
And, just guys like that are just incorporating some of their self into what is
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, honestly, kind of a boring thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not that exciting unless, I mean, you're exciting some people, but there's such a
I'm still
small
learning to
percentage.
like I'm still learning to get past the thinking about the tech, Like I have like, is my camera working? Is my audio working? I've got
Yeah.
like the script up here. Did I eloquently say all the things that I wanted to say? And like all of these things are going through your mind when you're trying to review something in a way. And I'm trying to think in the same time, what will all the like, well, you forgot to mention blah blah blah. What will they be saying? Like, are there details of this video that I'm completely just neglecting and I'm going to be like constantly in the comments like, yep, I should have tested that. You're right. Sorry. Um, and yeah, it's tough to like, it's tough to get past that sometimes. And I think back when I was in school, I went to school for recording engineering, and they would always say students had a really tough time with like getting the tech so in their bones that they could be there for the people on the recording studio floor. And you really notice it like going back into a studio later and recording with students is like you'll finish the take and then they're all like, heads down, turning knobs, looking at each other, talking. And it might be like 2 or 3 minutes before they press the talk back button and say like, "Hey, how was that take?" And then you work with someone who's been recording for a number of years and the tech is so ingrained in their soul that they like you finish the take and it's just like you're having a conversation with your best friend. Like
Yeah.
they're so there for the people that are like that are on the floor. And I'm trying to get myself to the point where I can do that for the viewers. And it's so hard because it's so detached because like they see a video 3 weeks after I shot the talking head stuff. So it's like, you know, it's such a different thing. But that's like something I really want to work on personally. Is
Yeah.
like getting better at just being there for the people that are watching the video, and not focusing on the tech. But I'm like,
Yeah. See, you're the anti me right now because, like, God, I'm terrible. Like, I literally, the one that sticks out in my mind the most is it was like a wireless XLR, like the X5 style stuff. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about? Like, plug onto the mic, plug into
yeah,
your thing,
yeah,
wireless,
yeah,
good to go. Like, I did a video about that, and like somebody was like, How far away can you be? What's the distance test? You didn't do that." And I'm like, "Wow, wireless gear." And I didn't do it. I didn't do a distance test at
yeah.
all. Like, I was just like, "Oh, doot to doot, penis, doot to
I
doot,
know. Yeah,
penis." And then they're like, "Yeah, so how far away can you walk with this thing?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm
yeah.
not sure, but I'll
But
try to find out."
I'll see stuff like that in the manual, and it's like can record up to 350 meters, and I'm like, you
Let's
know,
just go with that.
that's really far. Like if you want me to film
Yeah.
a video of me 350 meters, like I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want. But like it just seems like it's going so far beyond the realm of being like a practical
See,
exercise.
that's
But
how I look at it too, because I've done those tests and I've used my kids as pawns, and like, they'll walk to where I almost can't see them, and the only time it cuts out is if they turn around and the direct signal's gone.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I guess I do have a bad habit of just doing it my way and asking for forgiveness later. But on that one, I was like, I probably should have at least gave it a shot because it was a cheap wireless XLR
you know what?
set, so
Even
it
the
might have.
some of the more expensive ones too. Well, not like super expensive, but like even the Pocket Wireless, I reviewed that from Didi,
Yeah.
and it was like even at 10 feet away, if I was turning around, it was instant dropouts.
Yep.
It's like that 2.4 gigahertz stuff is just a nightmare for.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, well, and when are we going to see innovation in that? That's a pretty good question because I feel like
Yeah,
everything new that comes out is like 2.4 gigahertz.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I don't
when
know.
are we going to upgrade? I
I've
know we've got the technology.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it's. I don't know the whole like legal stuff with cell and like wireless,
Oh, that
but I
could be
know
a
that.
factor.
Yeah, I know that it's all bought up, and it's like I feel like we're pretty limited with like bands that can be purchased and used.
That makes sense.
Because like some of the wireless equipment you can't even own in your area, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you use it, you're gonna get like telecommunication charges. I don't know. I
Yep.
don't know how they'd ever find you, but
Yeah. And drones. I've got a buddy who's in some trouble right now due to a drone. And I'm
Oh,
like, I
really?
didn't know you could get in trouble for that. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I guess there's laws, and he didn't adhere to them or something, and he didn't
okay.
know he didn't adhere to them. I guess he flew. I don't know. Maybe somebody can chime in because I'm sure I'm just piecing together what he told me, but something to do with like the size of the drone, the speed of the drone, the camera on the drone, where he flew the
Okay.
drone. It's almost like he was in no fly zone or something with the
Okay.
drone. I feel like for some reason I feel like Ask Mr. Science or somebody would have an answer to that. But if anyone else has any more questions, I noticed the chat went dead probably because me and Randy are just shooting the shit and not talking to
It was
anybody
just
else,
ranting.
which is not the intention. But you know, this it's our first time. This is our first
It's
time
yeah.
together. We want
This
it
is
to
a
be
pilot.
special.
Yeah.
I want his wife to walk in and make a can joke in the middle of this. So how is the new baby thing going? Sleeping, not sleeping, up all night? Like, are you good to
It's
go?
like
Is it?
it's a shit show. It
It's
sucks.
dude. It's a change. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like one is easy, honest to God.
Yeah.
Like one is nothing,
But
and
we
then
didn't
you
know
add
that when we had
another.
one. Like
I did. Well, yeah. Me neither.
we
Well,
thought we were
no, yeah,
totally like we thought it was so hard. I was on pat leave too for our first one, and we thought it was like we thought it was so hard. And then now we're looking back, being like, man, I should have been. We should have been doing so much more with our time.
yeah. See, I have a 21-year-old son, and he, so I did know that one was easy, and then I decided
Mm.
to start over, and I've got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old now, and it's like, dude,
You said 21, 11, and 8?
yeah,
So 10 years, eh?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I got bored. I had to do something, but yeah, and as soon as I had two small ones, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like,
Mm.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is a whole new ball game. Like, I went gray super quick.
Yeah. You know, it's the
This
toddler
is
that's the hardest for me. Like he's just so high energy. Like, you know, we're tired from losing all the sleep throughout the day, and then he needs full, circus entertainment.
Yep.
And I'm just yeah.
You're in my situation because my 11-year-old was just balls to the wall, crazy, wild, nuts, and then I have this little baby that's like mostly quiet, but
Mm.
also won't sleep at night. So we're up
Yeah.
till 3 and 4 in the morning trying to get him to sleep, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is tough,
It's a drag for sure.
and it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just try to tell everyone I know that's younger than me that I work with, and some of them take the advice, and some of them just think like, "Oh, he's stupid." And
Yeah.
maybe I am because everybody's situation is different. But like having kids in your 30s, awesome.
Mm.
Having kids in your 20s, not awesome.
Yeah, I get
Like
that. I get
it,
that. I was
I
30,
don't know how. Okay,
31.
gotcha. See,
Yeah.
perfect. Just my opinion, just my take.
Oh yeah.
That's perfect. You've gotten all the 20s out of the way. You've done your hobbies. You've done any sports you wanted to play or done any career stuff you wanted to do. And it's like, you
Yeah.
know who you are in your 30s. Like, you've got a good idea of who Randy Rector is. And then you have a kid, you're like, okay, yeah, I can be unselfish now. I can do this. Me
Still
at
figuring it out.
21, oh yeah, you never completely figure it out. But me at 21 having a kid, man, like I literally apologized to my kid. I was like, I was not.
Mm.
I should have. I was not prepared. Just
You know, there's a
wasn't.
nice like a value though of being younger when your kids are younger too. Like my folks had my brother and sister at 19, 20, and then me at 26. So they're they're young still, which is nice. Like it's nice to be able to have that relationship with them now,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah, yeah. I definitely fear that because like my 11 and 8-year-old, when they're, when they empty nest me, I will be 50. And it's like, man, like
Yeah.
they're gonna be young adults trying to find their way, and I'm gonna be not old and decrepit, but I'm gonna be basically done with most of my life. Like, okay, the rest of it is looking forward to retirement and then retirement. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't even ask what do you do for work?
The most boring shit in the world, and then you can tell me what you do because I've meant to ask you like 2 or 3 times. But no, I am a collections and recovery director for a credit union. So
Okay.
this company, I run that department, and it is dreadfully boring. And yeah, it's not really what I wish I was doing, but it pays the bills, and I can't find anything that will pay me more. So I'm very stuck right now.
Mm.
Just
That's a tough spot
wishing.
to be in if
Yeah, and it's
if you're not
fine.
fulfilled by it.
yeah, definitely not fulfilled, but I'm also not stressed. Like I sit in an office all day. I listen to podcasts. I listen to music.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
value
really,
there for sure.
yeah, there's value there because I used to be like a retail manager and it was, stressed all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no stress. I can't complain a lot, but at the same time, it's like, you settling for doing something that's not perfect is the first word of that. It's settling,
Yeah.
so I don't want to settle. So I'm constantly striving to figure out how I can improve my life.
Yeah.
Even though it's fine, even though it's good, but still never
Yeah.
settle.
Well, I think
What do you do?
maybe your maybe the energy level that you have and you're able to bring home helps with your channel too. So I think we're all
Yeah,
thankful that you have
yeah.
that.
I think that could, yeah, that's probably accurate because I'm dying to just, you know, talk in a non-professional manner to somebody by the time I get out of work. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, I edit a podcast. So it's a podcast called Syntax, which is you can see this skateboard up there. There it's like a web development podcast, and so
Okay.
they were recently acquired by a company called Century, and then they
I
brought
know both those names.
okay, they brought me on the team to produce the show. So basically, I'm doing all the editing, video podcast stuff, helping get guests on the show, just helping keep things organized, thumbnails for YouTube, all that stuff. So it's
Now, see, to me, that sounds fantastic
it's really
because
fun.
you're working with audio, and I know editing's not exactly a joy all the time.
Yeah,
But see, that sounds awesome.
it's
Like
it's
that.
an
That's
amazing job. I really enjoy it. There's a level of like the editing that is a bit like you're on the hamster wheel. Like you finish we do 3 shows a week that are an hour long, and they're video as well. So I'm editing 3 hours of video content a week plus shorts. It's quite a lot.
yeah,
Um, but it's really I just love the work. Like it's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does it ever make you dread the work you do for your own channel?
Not at all, actually. And I was
No.
worried about that. No. And actually all the like I've made it so that all my tools are the same. So my work desk and personal desk is the same thing now. Everything's like run off the same stuff. And it makes it really easy so I don't I've been really trying to eliminate steps for doing productions.
Yeah,
And this has really helped me. So I got excuse me, got the whole desk like permanently set up and wired. I got like extra lights put up where I want them, and just I got I wanted to make it so I could just press record and go with things. And yeah, it's been nice for that for sure.
yeah, dude, that's fantastic. Like, see, that's what's inspiring about being just a part of any audio community, and in this case, YouTube, of course, is like it's always a joy to find somebody who does something audio related for a
Yeah.
living. It's like, okay, it is possible. And yeah, like people are doing it. Like when I hear, of course, you see people online, like I get the emails, like, you want somebody to produce your podcast? I'm like, no, I don't want
Hmm.
somebody to produce my podcast. Like, and I know that it's a thing, but in my mind, it's a rare thing. Like to me, nobody's actually making a living producing a podcast unless they're producing a big podcast.
Yeah.
Or I guess you could make a good living if you're producing a shit ton of podcasts.
Yeah. It's
But to
pretty.
hear somebody who's actually doing it and on a, a successful podcast on a successful level, like it's inspiring because that's part of the dream when you're in this niche is
Yeah.
doing that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a dream. My wife and I talk about that all the time. Like I get to edit audio and make videos, and people pay me to do that, and it's what I would do for my hobby anyways, and then I
yeah.
do that for work. So it's
And you get
yeah.
to stay home, right?
Yeah.
Like you're home.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I
I'm sure
just
sometimes you're dying to just go somewhere else, but
yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
but still,
For
for
sure.
the most part, like I'm dying to get out of my freaking office most of the time. So.
Yeah, I had to get a standing desk this year because I'm like I
Dude,
realized
what
that
a lifesaver.
I sit down here at 8 a.m. and then I work till 4, like editing straight, just like head down editing.
It's a grind.
I get up, make dinner, have some time with the kids. They go to bed, and then I sit down. I'm here till like
Yeah.
11, 12. It's
Yeah.
it's not great for my back. I'm sure that I'm gonna
No.
have a very painful old age. So
Well, I'm 43 and so far so good. And I've been sitting at a desk for like the last 5 years, so
yeah,
you might be okay.
that's
But the
great
standing desk is
inspiration.
awesome. Yeah. I stand at my desk probably half the day
Oh,
and
do you?
half like I rotate. I'll sit for an hour, stand for an hour, sit for an hour, stand for an hour.
Yeah.
And I kind of do what you do because I edit my stuff at work, even though I probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I edit my videos and podcasts for a living. I just, happen to probably not. I'm probably not supposed to, but that's okay.
What can you do?
Well, it's a pretty lax job with a pretty lax environment, so it's like, dude, I can totally talk to lawyers, which is what most of my day is. Lawyers trying to go after people that aren't paying their loans and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's easy. I don't really have to talk to people, so I don't have like angry customers. Like that's the team that does that,
Okay.
and I
You're not
handle
like
all
doing the
the.
collection calls and
No, I'm handling like the lawyer stuff, the legal stuff,
oh, okay.
all that stuff, like all the paperwork, basically. The charge offs that get done, yada 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 yada. So no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have to talk to anybody like that. But I can totally like email lawyers and podcast it at the same time. I just wish I could put the lawyer stuff aside and
Hmm.
just edit content all day. But
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah.
yeah, it'll happen eventually. Like that's part of the goal, I guess. And if I never get there, it's fine because like this is the first hobby I've ever really had that I liked. I thought fantasy football was a hobby, but
Mm.
is it really? It's more of a game. And I like I said, I picked up a guitar and it didn't work out. And I picked up so many other things. I'm like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. This isn't for me.
Yeah,
And
but
then
it feels like you're like always sort of like podcast slash audio adjacent, right? Like you're
yeah, yeah. So then when you find it, it's like, oh yeah, this is it. This is
turns out
it
I
for
just
me.
like
So
setting this stuff up and using it and trying it.
yeah, talking about it, moving on from it, so on
Yeah.
and so forth. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's a good time. If anybody has any last minute questions, I'm not going to keep you all night because I know I can't stay up all night either. I'm, considerably old and gray thanks to my two kids, so it's going to be my bedtime pretty damn soon. I think everybody's talked out. There's still people here.
It's great to see all these friendly faces here.
Yeah,
It's
usually
awesome.
they're talking the whole time. Like either the chat has gone
I've been
haywire.
seeing them pop in here.
I don't have anything since 1046. I only use professional 5/8 to 3/8 adapters,
Oh no, your
which is
thing
a
is
great.
frozen.
Is it
They're
frozen?
chatting away. Yeah.
I've saw nothing.
Oh, you
Wonder
should give
why.
it a good refresh or something.
Damn, how do I refresh it? Let's close the chat out. Sorry guys, I didn't know anybody was chatting. Mine's not
Oh,
updating.
they're making fun of you the entire
Oh,
time too.
awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, I would too if I were them. No, it's still not doing anything. I'm still at 1046. I only use professional 5/8 to
Oh,
3/8
weird.
adapters. Do you have the option to put any on the screen if there's any good comments? I literally have nothing.
I don't know how I do that. Oh, I'd have to have like a virtual. No, I don't have that.
Usually, for me, if I hover over the comment, it'll bring up a show on stream button, but I don't know
Oh,
if we both have that option or not.
this is my first time live streaming, so
We have
this is it.
got Randy Rector into live streaming this evening.
I'm definitely gonna do some more because
He's going to be a fan. It's hard by yourself though. It really is. Like,
yeah,
man, I'm not inspired to do it by myself, but when like me and you were talking on social media and you're like, yeah, let's do this, then I'm like, yeah, this is exciting. Like, because
yeah.
I love this. I could do a damn talk show and be happy. I
Do
could
it.
do
This is the start of it.
easier said than done. I've done so many podcasts and like everybody bails because like
Mm,
you have to really be into this shit,
yeah.
to be able to do it and put the time into it. Like my first podcast, which I consider to be pretty successful, we did it like 3 years, and I think that's a pretty damn good run. But it did ultimately fall. COVID killed it.
Mm,
And then I did another one with a buddy for a year that was music based,
cool.
and that was awesome. And it was I had the time of my life doing it, and it lasted a year. And
Mm.
he's like, I think I'm kind of burnt out on it. And I'm like, damn it, no! Like,
It's so hard, isn't it? Yeah.
maybe come back.
The guys
Yeah.
that I work for, like, my biggest thing I commend them on is like, so we record episodes every Tuesday in Riverside, and they just sit down at like 11 o'clock and record till 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just a full day of recording. They do 3 episodes in that time. I have no ability to do that because like I get so fatigued and burnt out talking. I'm not saying things that make any sense. I just go completely incoherent after like
See,
I don't
that's what
know.
I love. I love when the slap happy kicks in. The
Oh,
podcast
really?
takes wicked turns, and it's like, okay, this is getting great. Like
Yeah.
I'm saying some shit I shouldn't be saying right now, but it's hitting on all cylinders. Like this is wonderful. And that first podcast we did, man, there's so much good stuff. And it's like, God, I wish we could go back to that. But it was also about fantasy football, which I don't have much of an interest in anymore. But
Mm,
just that, podcasting with your friends, like
yeah.
there's nothing like it, especially if you're all kind of characters, so to speak.
Yeah. I think it's just showing up is the hard part, right? You got to show up for the people on your
That's it.
team or your podcast, and
Yeah,
it's a grind for sure.
it is 100%. But yeah, it is fun. And it's still like my first love out of all this stuff. Like podcasting is still definitely the thing I love to do the most. But at this point, I'm doing it alone. And it's
Mm,
like, it's not that much fun alone. Like, you
yeah.
got to have somebody doing it with
You
you.
need the banter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which occasionally you get that, like on these one-offs and stuff, like you do here. But it's hard to find somebody that can keep up with the pace of it. And
Yeah.
you don't really need a schedule, in my opinion, if you're just hobbying it.
Yeah.
But still, it's everybody's busy. Life gets in the way, and it happens. I
Yeah.
really wish I could see this chat.
Yeah, you
I've
can't see
tried
it, eh?
everything. I've tried everything I can, and it will not.
Oh man, there's probably 100 comments after what you said there. Well, maybe
Live
not.
stream chat, studio chat. Yeah, back and forth doesn't matter. Ask Mr. Science, same one, 1046. I'm glad you were blessed with all the comments, Randy.
They're talking
Hopefully,
about web development at the moment. He said, when I was your age, all we had was ones and zeros, and sometimes we didn't even have ones.
back in my day.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I feel left out now, but oh well, that's okay.
I wish I could, yeah, paste it somewhere. Maybe I can paste it into our chat or something.
Maybe so. I can download a text file of the conversation.
Oh, it's not showing up in. I see it's in Riverside. I didn't even notice that. I'm just
Yeah.
looking on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, if
okay.
you
So
go there,
that's the
they're all there.
problem then. Can I open up a YouTube only chat? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
I also don't see anything past. I only see use professional 5/8 to 3 adapters.
Let's see if I can pull up.
If you go to YouTube, there's lots here.
Let's see. I
These
can
guys are
pause the
popping
video.
off.
Well, that's nice. That's nice of folks for popping off for us. I wish I could see it. Why isn't this working?
Yeah, he's looking at the comments inside Riverside. Yeah, I didn't even know Riverside did that, so I just opened up YouTube right away because I was like, I want to see the chat here.
Yeah, because I can hover over and add. No,
Yeah, that's
nope,
why
the
when you
chat's
said
just froze up. I can't even add it to the stream anymore.
okay,
And now when I pull up YouTube, I don't have my chat window's empty. There. Oh, here we go. There it goes. Now I got it.
okay,
Okay, Mike, let's do it. Tell Bark just to refresh his whole page. Oh yeah, let's just end the stream and refresh my whole page. Hi Vincent. Hi Newman. Hi KYJ. Yep, I'm so far behind.
oh, this is so much better now that you can see this.
Just pop out the chat
It's funny, you
separately
said-
and mute. I've
you
got
said
it.
a while
I've
ago,
got it
you're like-
muted and paused.
Okay, yeah, you said a while ago, yeah, people aren't really chatting, and I was like, I don't know, it seems like there's a lot of comments coming in here.
Yep, I just wasn't seeing any of it. I didn't
Oh,
know. Hey, I'm really happy these people are still here. That's fantastic. Sorry I haven't talked to you. Bark's age is now showing. Thanks, Liberty Dude, you dick. It is true though. It really is. Is there anything worth talking about before we go? Not to say your comments are not worth talking about.
Yeah, I was skimming through.
Same.
And
We're
yeah,
just
it
going to be
says,
silent for the last 5 minutes and
That's
read
my
the
retirement
comments.
plan.
My mom was 50 when I was 10. Oh man.
I think we failed at this.
Yeah.
I'll take ownership on this too because I had this open. I was like, oh, I think
That's well, yeah. You could only assume that I was seeing it too.
yeah. I'm like,
So,
maybe he just
yeah,
doesn't
no-
think this is a very interesting comment. I don't
No,
know.
no
Like-
fault on your part.
Gee.
All right. Like riding a lawnmower while testing a PDX. Yeah, Mike did that. Or going down a slide while testing a Dynacaster from SE, which I did.
We're talking about riding lawnmowers during mic reviews. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, that's a real thing. He literally rode a lawnmower with a microphone.
Oh,
which
really?
is great. Testing the noise cancellation or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Bags.
great.
I did have a hello Neumann. Hello Neumann. Just deleted it. And Bandrew's up late. You people need no Bandrew's in a different time zone. You're not up late. Some of you people need to go to bed. Some of y'all need to go to bed. Why are you still hanging out with us? What the hell are you thinking?
Bunch of nerds.
Bunch
Love
of
it.
freaking audio nerds watching
Yeah.
a couple of audio nerds.
That's great.
Well, this has been awesome. And again,
Yeah, this has been
you
fun.
or anyone else that we've done this with, if you ever do a live stream and you want to do, more than just you on it, I'm always game.
Amazing.
Vice versa. If we ever want to do this again, I'm always game. This is why me and Bronson do the thing we do on Obscure Hotline, which I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
about that or not, but yeah, there's no viewers. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun to talk about stuff. Even though usually with him and I, it just goes straight into the gutter of like, this video sucks. Let's talk about it. And we try not to be offensive or anything, but like
Yeah.
some videos just make us think.
Yeah, it's great to have that creative outlet too.
Yeah, you got to talk stuff out sometimes.
Yeah, I love it.
What his Randy's channel? I think I still had it pasted here. Yeah, I do. There you go.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, I posted it as a different channel, Obscure Tech. There you go.
It's some nerdy stuff.
Nerdy stuff. We like microphones. You guys do too. That's why you're here. You ride freaking lawnmowers and talk on them. Yeah. Sorry I didn't talk to you guys that much. I was talking to Randy. He's the guest, not you.
Hey, it was great to meet you though. Like this is a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
definitely.
And I'll have to have you on for a live too because it'd be nice to have some hand holding because although I now have experience live streaming, I'm still a little bit
Oh yeah, you're
a
pro
little
now.
bit scared.
You're
Yeah.
pro now. Obviously, I'm not because it took us a while just to get this up and running. We tried on a different platform at first, and then turns out it was my technical difficulty of
So
not having
loose
my
cable.
Ethernet plugged in. Yeah.
Here we
We
are
did
talking about
get
the
some
loose
tape.
cables. It all circles back.
It all circles back. Audio, data. Make sure your cables aren't loose.
Yeah.
Make sure you got a tight connection. Has to be tight. All right. Yeah, we'll do this
Amazing.
again. It's been fun. We've chatted online for months, and now we finally, went past the DM stage and
It's
got
great.
to real life.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Tell
great
your
to
wife next time if we do another one that she needs to interrupt with a can joke or
do the joke. Yeah.
yeah, come in and
Okay.
do whatever. I don't know. Did you say can joke? Is that what you
Yeah,
called it?
she'd have it. She'd have it ready to go, and she'd just like come in and pretend like I don't
Canned.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was.
I was like, what kind of jokes can you make about a can? It's like what? I'm so confused, but that's the Appalachia in me. I'm like, what's a can joke?
What's a
like,
can? Why are they always can jokes? It seems so weird for an audio channel.
canned joke. Yes, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, folks. We'll see you
Right
guys
on.
next time. Randy, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks for
sure
having me,
I'll-
man. This is fun.
100%. I love doing this. And, we'll be talking on the interwebs more,
Love it.
even though, and I'm glad you're on more than freaking Twitter. If anyone else followed me on Twitter or chatted with me on Twitter, I don't have it anymore. I can't, due to it just, in my opinion, it went so far off the freaking rails.
Yeah.
And
I saw your handle disappear one day, and I was like, oh, I wonder if you got blocked or like what happened.
No, I mean, my stuff wasn't reaching anyone that it used to reach. It wasn't even reaching followers. Like,
Yeah.
I got to the point of asking people, like, man, have you seen anything I've posted in the last, there was just no activity.
Yeah.
None.
The black hole, eh?
Black hole. And then all I was getting was, like, racist shit and, like,
Yeah.
the N word over and over. I'm like, what the? I don't subscribe
Yeah.
to this. What's
I
happening?
get like compilation videos of people dying.
Yeah, that too. Yes,
is
and people
weird.
fighting and
Yeah.
like beating the shit out of each other,
Like
or
yeah,
like
knocking them out and like yeah.
yeah,
There's
and I'm
people
like,
getting like jumped in an alley or something. I'm like,
Yes.
this is, like I don't want to see this. Like
No.
I'm just having
There's
my
a-
lunch.
there's enough wrong with life. So, Labor Day telethon, no. I'm gonna take my 3-day weekend because I work banker's hours and I'm no telethon for me. You fuckers won't see me at all. All right, Randy, I'll talk to you later. Thank you
All
for
right.
joining me. I appreciate it. I haven't done this for months and it was a lot of fun to do it. So,
Right on. Let's get it going again.
absolutely. We'll see you guys next time. Sorry I didn't see the chat. I suck at my job. Peace out, everybody.
All right, later, guys.
Or peace out when I figure out. There we go.